again, welcome foolish mortals to the beginning of spooky season. It is officially here and I'm feeling crafty. So I thought it was the perfect time to decorate my house, get it ready for spooky season, and make some vintage inspired Halloween decorations to surround myself with as we enter October. So let's get started with the first project. For the first project, I'm taking inspiration from old apothecary cabinets, bottles, and a general potion, spooky vintage vibe. I've always loved old apothecary displays and it just felt like so much possibility, spells, and magic were contained in those little drawers and bottles. So I'm going to be making some apothecary ingredient spell potion bottles. Okay, so I planned ahead and got all of my craft supplies here. I did not factor how that might look in the background, because now it's just a bunch of craft supplies. One moment. For a future video this month, subscribe, whatever, it's no big deal. Mildly more aesthetic. So for this project you'll need some glass bottles or jars, Mod Podge, food coloring, plastic cups, popsicle sticks, and some blank sticky labels, and an oven. Quick disclaimer for project number 1. This is for decoration only. Do not drink or put food in these containers once you put the glue inside, and also don't wash them. Decoration only. Okay, let's get started. Now that our bottles are cleaned, dried, and ready, we are going to be making the glue and food coloring mixture to coat the inside of the bottles. I've chosen 3 colors for my bottles today, so let's get to mixing. Man, I really struggle with the spooky fingers thing. Now that our glue, food coloring, and water mixtures are all combined, it's time to get to the fun yet technical bit, and that is coating the inside of our bottles. Now, I've never done this before, so we'll be learning together. I'm going to do a solid color, but then I'm going to try to do a gradient in some as well. I think it's pretty clear that I have not done this before, but I'm very excited by the prospect. I think they overall are looking pretty cool. I'm gonna let those drain and dry, and we'll come back to it when we're ready for the next step. In the meantime, let's move on to project number 2. Next up is some vintage inspired Halloween decorations for myself. We'll be decorating me. I guess it's a costume. In my autumn thrift haul, I found this very bright, chunky autumn sweater. And the first thing I think of when I see this is pumpkin. It's very orange. I think this item really has potential not just for everyday autumn wear, but also be a more casual pumpkin costume that I can mix and match and change out with different pumpkin faces. For this project, you'll need a sweater or a t-shirt. Doesn't have to be orange. I also think this would look really cool with a dark green sweater or a red one. Anything you want to turn into a spooky or sweet pumpkin face. Black felt for the face shapes, assorted felt for the hat, a ribbon, some yarn, pin backs, scissors, and of course some hot glue. So I want to make 2 faces that I can mix and match. A happy cute pumpkin face and a spooky mean pumpkin face. So I've sketched out 2 eye shapes as well as 2 different mouths. I'm going to use these as a stencil to trace them out on the felt, just so I'm not cutting blindly. If you don't feel confident sketching these shapes yourself, or you just want to take a step away, you can always find some clip art on the internet, print it out, and use those as a stencil instead. I've got all my face shapes cut out and glued with their little pin backs on, but no jack-o'-lantern is complete without its little hat sitting back on top of it. Now I'm very excited about this because I love festive headpiece. That is a good size. So let's trace that out. I'm gonna cut 2 of those circles because I'm going to sandwich the ribbon between them eventually. After cutting out my circles, I make markings across it like I'm cutting out a pizza, just so I have a general idea of the pumpkin shape. And I clip a little divot at the end of each of those lines. I then get my hot glue on and put some yarn over those lines for a bit more texture, make a green blobby shape out of the green felt, and roll up a rectangle to act as the stalk. I also break out a green pipe cleaner to give it that curly pumpkin leafy shape, and ultimately sandwich that all together with the ribbon inside to turn it into a proper hat. Welcome to a brief interlude of unboxing. It was my birthday in September and my parents sent me a package that has just arrived now. So let's see what's inside. I think it's mostly stuff that I've purchased and sent to their house in America that they've then sent to me. Cute vintage pin. I collect vintage pins, if you did not know. A little fish made by my mom. Look at that beautiful glaze on it. 100% wool. Thank you very much, Mom. The Pathfinder 2nd edition core rulebook, because I'm a nerd, and the dress that I bought from I Do Declare. I won't open that now because it's all white and my hands are covered in glue and hot glue and food coloring. So I'll leave that in there for now. One more thing. Cowboy Bebop vinyl. Okay, back to crafting. For this next project, we'll be making some spooky Halloween bunting. Nothing says autumn quite like pumpkin patches, fall festivals, harvest days. And something I think really completes the atmosphere at those events is all of the cute bunting. And I want to bring some of that magic into my home. But buying some pre-made ones is just not enough for me. What really endears me to vintage decorations are the homemade quality and aspect to them. So I'll be doing my best to replicate this aesthetic in my own homemade burlap bunting. Homemade-ish. I'm gonna keep this bad boy on. I think it's so cute. For this craft, you'll need paint, foam brushes, and some burlap bunting. I bought this burlap bunting already made, and even already made, this is getting burlap dust absolutely everywhere. So I cannot imagine how much worse it would be if you were making this 100% from scratch. I've cut down this bunting to have 7 triangles, and I've planned a pattern of interchanging stripes and Halloween motifs. To plan my motifs, I traced the shape of the bunting on a piece of paper and I sketched out the general idea of what I'm going to do. You can of course print some clip art off the internet to use instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these little drawings into homemade stamps. I did this in my Haunted Mansion Stretching Portrait Girl costume last year and it worked super well. Hello friends, I have changed my mind. I will not be making stamps out of them. I will be using stencils. Just because I cut this out and it looks really good as a stencil. It is paper. This is a pretty thick paper. I think it's 150 GSM. And I'm not going to be doing so many, but if I was doing like a full 40 flag bunting, I would make stamps. But I think for this, stencils it is. Back to project number 1. The glue in the bottles has pretty much dripped down and is mostly dry. So now I'm going to put them in the oven to finish drying and evaporate some of the glue. I think that's what's happening, or what's supposed to happen. I'm going to put it in there at 100 degrees Celsius, about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And I hear it takes about 1.5 to 2 hours to dry. And this is a perfect time while they're in the oven to work on the bottle labels. What potions and poisons and spells are going to be in your apothecary bottles? I started out with the idea of hand drawing some labels with some pens. I've got one that says poison and started writing another one that says cyanide, 3 drops before bed and then dead. But then I remembered that I had some stamps I could use to spell out different ingredients, and I thought those would actually give me the vibe I was looking for just a little bit more. So I switched gears and started working on a few of those. Here's what the bottles look like after they've come out the oven and you've let them cool, and then it's time to stick on the labels. Well, what did you think? I am honestly so pleased with all of them. I just think making your own Halloween decorations and costumes just brings such a nice hominess to the aesthetic. It really is just like instant gratification. Spend some time crafting and all of a sudden your home is so much more festive. I would love to know if you try any of these crafts yourself, or if you have any that you specifically want me to give a go. I love Halloween crafts. I have so much more spooky autumnal Halloween content coming for you this month, and yeah, I'm just excited to be in the spirit and the season, and since it's October, nobody can say it's too early anymore. We are in it. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you could like it, and if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye! And make some vintage-inspired, vintage. One day I'll get a hot glue gun that stands on its own, but today is not that day.